welcome back to our chapter-by-chapter breakdown of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Today, we are diving into Laws 11 to 20. Law 11, learn to keep people dependent on you. This law is all about making yourself indispensable. If people need you for success, they'll never abandon you. But if they can replace you easily, you lose power. Whether in business, relationships, or politics, this law is key to maintaining influence. Let's break it down with real-world examples, how to apply it, mistakes to avoid, and key takeaways. 1. The core idea of Law 11. Robert Greene explains that power comes from being needed. If others depend on you for knowledge, resources, or skills, they won't turn against you. But if they can easily find someone else to do what you do, your power fades. Example, in a company, an employee who knows a critical system inside out is hard to replace. Even if they're difficult to work with, the boss tolerates them because losing them would hurt the business. 2. How to make yourself indispensable. Greene gives 3 key strategies. A. Be the source of unique skills or knowledge. Master something few others can do. Example, a programmer who knows a rare coding language controls their value. B. Control key resources. If you manage money, connections, or opportunities, people will rely on you. Example, a manager who controls promotions holds power over employees. C. Become the middleman. Position yourself between two parties, they need you to communicate. Example, a real estate agent connects buyers and sellers, without them, deals fall apart. 3. Historical example, Otto von Bismarck. Bismarck, a 19th century German leader, made himself essential by handling complex political negotiations. Kings and ministers depended on him, so no one could remove him from power. Modern-day applications. In business, develop skills your boss can't easily replace. In relationships, be the emotional anchor or problem solver so your partner values you more. In social circles, be the organizer, people rely on you to plan events. Mistakes to avoid. Overplaying your hand. If you make people feel trapped, they'll resent you. Becoming replaceable. If you stop learning, someone else will take your place. Ignoring loyalty. If you are too selfish, people may find ways to work around you. Law 11 teaches us that dependence equals power. The more people need you, the more control you have. But use this wisely. Don't create enemies by being manipulative. Instead, focus on adding real value. Key takeaways. Develop rare skills that others can't easily replace. Control important resources, information, money, or connections. Stay adaptable, don't become complacent, or someone will outshine you. Have you ever met someone who seems too good to be true? The kind of person who's always generous, always honest, almost suspiciously so. What if I told you that strategic honesty and generosity can be powerful tools to control others? Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. This law is all about lowering people's defenses. If you are always scheming, people will distrust you. But if you occasionally show honesty or give unexpected gifts, they'll let their guard down, making them easier to influence. 1. The core idea of Law 12. Robert Greene explains that people are naturally suspicious of those who always seek power. If you are constantly manipulative, others will resist you. But if you occasionally act with honesty or generosity, they'll trust you more, making future deception easier. Example, a salesman who admits a small flaw in a product gains the customer's trust, making them more likely to buy. A politician who publicly donates to charity distracts from their corrupt dealings. 2. How to apply selective honesty and generosity. Greene gives 3 key strategies. A. Confess a minor weakness to hide a bigger one. By admitting a small fault, you seem transparent, making people overlook larger flaws. Example, a CEO admits a small financial mistake to distract from a major scandal. B. Give unexpected gifts to create obligation. When you are generous without reason, people feel indebted to you. Example, a boss randomly gives a bonus, employees work harder to repay the kindness. C. Use truth as a weapon. Telling an uncomfortable truth can shock people into trusting you. Example, a negotiator says, honestly, your offer is weak, forcing the other side to improve it. 3. Historical example, Talleyrand, master diplomat. Charles Maurice de Talleyrand, a French diplomat, survived multiple regime changes by appearing loyal while secretly playing all sides. He would occasionally reveal small betrayals to seem honest, while hiding his larger schemes. Modern-day applications. In business, a manager admits a small mistake to gain team trust before pushing a risky plan. In relationships, a partner does something unexpectedly kind after an argument to soften resentment. In negotiations, a seller says, "I'll be honest, this product isn't perfect for everyone," making the buyer trust their recommendations more. Mistakes to avoid. Overdoing it. If you are too generous, people may suspect manipulation. Being predictable. If you only act nice when you want something, people will catch on. Ignoring timing. A poorly timed, honest remark can backfire. Law 12 teaches us that calculated honesty and generosity can be more powerful than constant deception. By occasionally disarming people with kindness or truth, you gain their trust and then control. Key takeaways. Admit small flaws to hide bigger ones. Give unexpected gifts to create loyalty. Use brutal honesty strategically to shock and influence. Have you ever asked for a favor and been turned down? Maybe you begged, pleaded, or played the victim only to get rejected. What if there was a better way? Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to self-interest, never to mercy. This law reveals a crucial truth. People help others when they see a benefit for themselves. Begging for pity rarely works, but showing someone how helping you helps them. That's power. 1. The core idea of Law 13. Robert Greene explains that human nature is driven by self-interest. When you ask for help, appealing to emotions like guilt or sympathy is weak. Instead, frame your request so the other person gains something. Example, a struggling employee who says, "If you give me this project, I'll make sure the team looks good," is more likely to get support than one who says, "I really need this or I'll get fired." 2. How to apply this law effectively. Greene provides 3 key strategies. A. Find what the other person wants. Before asking for help, ask yourself, what does this person value? Example, if your boss cares about efficiency, explain how your idea saves time. B. Turn yourself into an opportunity. Instead of saying, "I need a job," say, "I can solve specific problem for you." Example, a freelancer doesn't say, "Hire me." They say, "I can increase your sales by 20%. C. Offer a trade, even if it's future-based. People respond to exchanges, not charity. Example, if you introduce me to your contact, I'll bring you into my next deal. 3. Historical example, Benjamin Franklin's trick. Franklin famously borrowed a book from a rival to create a sense of obligation. By asking for a favor, instead of pleading for friendship, he triggered the man's instinct to like him because we value those we help. Modern-day applications. In business, pitch investors by showing ROI, not just passion. In networking, instead of asking, "Can you mentor me?" say, "Your advice could save me months. I'd love to share my results with you." In relationships, if we take this trip, I'll handle all the planning so you can relax. Mistakes to avoid. Playing the victim, begging for pity makes you seem weak. Being vague, "Help me," is less effective than "Here's exactly how you benefit." Ignoring reciprocity. If you only take, people will avoid you. Law 13 teaches us that people act when they see value for themselves. The next time you need help, don't beg, reframe your ask as an opportunity. Key takeaways. Never appeal to mercy, appeal to self-interest. Position yourself as an asset, not a burden. Offer something in return, even if it's future goodwill. What if I told you the most powerful people in history mastered the art of gathering intelligence before making their moves? Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. This law is all about strategic information gathering, learning your opponent's weaknesses by blending in, not confronting. The more you know, the more control you have. But misuse this, and you'll destroy trust forever. 1. The core idea of Law 14. Robert Greene explains that knowledge is power, and the best way to gain it is by observing silently, not interrogating. When you pose as a friend, people reveal secrets, insecurities, and plans, giving you the upper hand. Example, a CEO chats casually with employees at happy hour, learning about office conflicts without formal meetings. A negotiator mirrors their opponent's body language to build rapport and extract concessions. 2. How to apply this law effectively. Greene reveals 3 key spy tactics used ethically. A. Master the art of passive eavesdropping. People confess more when they think you are just just listening, not judging. Example, a manager stays quiet in meetings, noticing who dominates conversations, revealing hidden leaders. B. Ask indirect questions. Instead of what's your budget, ask what's the biggest challenge on this project. Example, a salesperson learns a client's pain points by casually discussing industry trends. C. Create a safe space for confessions. Share a small vulnerability first. People will reciprocate with bigger truths. Example, I struggled with this too. Makes others open up about failures. 3. Historical example, Sir Francis Walsingham, Queen Elizabeth's spymaster. Walsingham built England's first intelligence network by planting friends in enemy circles. His spies uncovered assassination plots by blending in, not forcing confessions. Modern-day applications. In business, a competitor analysis isn't stalking, it's researching public behavior. LinkedIn interviews. In relationships, notice patterns in a partner's complaints to address root issues, not surface fights. In networking, before pitching, listen first. What's your biggest focus this year? Reveals needs. Mistakes to avoid. Getting caught. If exposed, you'll be labeled deceitful forever. Over-collecting. Too much info without action causes paralysis. Losing empathy. Spying without caring about people creates hollow power. Law 14 isn't about betrayal, it's about observing strategically before acting. The key, use this for mutual benefit, not manipulation. Key takeaways. Listen more than you talk. Secrets reveal themselves. Ask indirect questions to uncover hidden motives. Never reveal your intelligence sources. Stay trusted. Asterisk, what do Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, and Steve Jobs all have in common? They understood this brutal truth. Half measures create future enemies. Law 15, crush your enemy totally, the most controversial yet strategically vital law in Robert Greene's playbook. This isn't about mindless cruelty, it's about survival. Leaving rivals with resources to retaliate is how empires fall. But how do you apply this in modern careers and relationships without becoming a monster? 1. The core principle of Law 15. Robert Greene argues that mercy toward enemies is strategic suicide. When you leave opponents with resources, money, connections, hope, belief they can come back, freedom, ability to reorganize, you guarantee future conflict. Example, Apple's 1997 return to Microsoft for a $150 million bailout instead of destroying them nearly cost Apple dominance later when Windows researched. In Game of Thrones, Robb Stark's mercy toward the Lannisters led to the Red Wedding. 2. How to apply this strategically, not brutally. A. Recognize true enemies versus temporary opponents. Not every critic deserves destruction. True enemies, those who will never reconcile. Business rivals with personal vendettas, abusive ex-partners. B. The 3 levels of crushing. Professional destruction, remove their platform. Example, a corporate takeover that absorbs a competitor's key assets. Social isolation, cut their alliances. Example, politicians discrediting opponents by exposing past scandals. Psychological defeat, kill their spirit to fight. Example, sports teams running up scores to demoralize rivals. C. The no prisoners business tactic. When Jobs returned to Apple, he terminated the Newton, killing competitors' roadmap, sued Samsung into submission, made switching from PC culturally embarrassing. 3. Historical case study, the Mongols. Genghis Khan didn't just defeat cities, he spared artisans, useful, executed royal bloodlines, eliminating future threats, burned fields so survivors couldn't regroup. Modern applications without violence. In business, acquiring competitors' patents instead of just outperforming them. Poaching key employees to gut rival teams. In personal life, cutting toxic people completely, blocking, no closure meetings. Legal restraining orders instead of giving chances to dangerous ex. When to break this law? Against minor irritants, wastes energy. When reconciliation offers greater rewards. If destruction would turn you into what you hate. Law 15 is brutal but often true. Unfinished business always returns to finish you. The key is applying it surgically, not sadistically. Key takeaways. Identify who truly deserves total defeat, few do. Remove all means of retaliation, resources, allies, hope. Never enjoy the crushing, it's hygiene, not sport. Why do we miss people only when they're gone? Why do legends grow after artists die? There's a hidden power in absence that most people ignore. Law 16, use absence to increase respect and honor, the secret behind every cult icon, from Banksy to Beyoncé. Robert Greene reveals that visibility breeds familiarity, and familiarity breeds contempt. The more available you are, the less people value you. But disappear strategically and watch your influence grow. 1. The psychology behind absence. Scarcity principle. The human brain values rare things 300% more. Duke University study. Example, limited edition sneakers versus regular pairs. Mystery effect. Incomplete information triggers obsession. Zeigarnik effect. Example, TV cliffhangers keep us hooked. 2. How to disappear strategically. The 3 types of productive absence. Physical vanishing. Steve Jobs' secret retreats. Communication blackouts. Elon Musk's tweet hiatuses. Creative withdrawals. Banksy's years between artworks. B. The celebrity playbook. Taylor Swift's 2016 disappearance, reputation album hype. Dave Chappelle's Africa retreat legend status. C. Digital age tactics. The 24-hour rule for messages, increase response value. Social media detox that boost engagement. 3. Historical masterclass. Queen Elizabeth I used progress's disappearing tours to let problems solve themselves. Make courtiers compete for attention. Return to renewed loyalty. Modern applications. In business, consultants who limit availability get higher fees. Out of office as power move, Bill Gates think weeks. In relationships, the 3-day rule versus constant texting. Why playing hard to get works, but only if you are high value. In social media, hosting cycles that create anticipation. The disappearing story tactic. When this backfires, overdoing it becomes abandonment. Must balance with consistent value delivery. Not for beginners establishing credibility. Law 16 isn't about being flaky, it's about engineering desire. The art is in disappearing just enough to be missed, but not forgotten. Key takeaways. Disappear before people get tired of you, 80% rule. Return with greater value. Absence plus mediocrity is equal to failure. Use digital tools strategically. Mute buttons are power tools. What do the best poker players, military generals, and Hollywood stars have in common? They know predictability is power's greatest enemy. Law 17. Keep others in suspense. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Robert Greene teaches that being predictable makes you controllable. But when people can't guess your next move, they're forced to pay attention, negotiate carefully, and never take you for granted. 1. Why unpredictability is equal to power. The psychology of uncertainty. Our brains hate unpredictability. Harvard study shows 68% more mental engagement. Example, movie trailers that reveal just enough to hook you. Strategic benefits. Keeps competitors off balance. Prevents being figured out in negotiations. Makes even ordinary actions seem calculated. 2. How to master controlled unpredictability. The 3 levels of strategic surprise. Micro level, daily interactions. Vary response times to messages. Alternate between intense focus and sudden relaxation. Mid-level, professional decisions. Occasionally reverse a firm stance to keep people guessing. Example, a manager who usually denies raises suddenly grants one. Macro level, life choices. Unexpected career pivots, like Elon Musk's Tesla to Twitter moves. Disappearing acts, as covered in Law 16. B. The celebrity playbook. Lady Gaga's ever-changing personas. Donald Trump's sudden policy shifts, keeping media hooked. C. Body language and vocal tricks. The poker face formula. Delay reactions by 3 seconds. Mirror others' expressions to hide your own. Use ambiguous phrases, that's one way to see it. 3. Historical case study. Napoleon's military tactics. Purposely disobeyed his own battle plans to confuse enemies. Used false retreats to lure opponents into traps. Modern applications. In business, CEOs who alternate between friendly and stern. Steve Jobs' mood swings. Startups that pivot unexpectedly. Instagram began as a check-in app. In relationships, the hot and cold technique when used sparingly. Never being 100% emotionally available. In social media, posting at random intervals beats algorithms. Cryptic stories that spark DMs. The dangers of overdoing it. Can erode trust if if used excessively. Must balance with core reliability. Never sacrifice long-term goals for short-term surprises. Law 17 isn't about being random, it's about strategically controlling perceptions. The goal is to keep people just uncertain enough to stay engaged. Key takeaways. Break patterns before others notice them. Use unpredictability as a calculated tool, not a personality trait. Always maintain a core of reliability beneath the surprises. What if the walls you build to protect yourself become the prison that traps you? Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Robert Greene warns that while retreating behind walls might feel safe, it actually cuts you off from vital information, allies, and opportunities. The most powerful people in history stayed connected even when it seemed risky. 1. Why isolation is a trap. The paradox of protection. The safer you feel, the more vulnerable you become, like a castle during a siege. Example, CEOs who only listen to yes men. The 3 dangers of isolation. You miss critical information, no early warnings. You become irrelevant, out of touch with trends. You lose allies, people forget about you. 2 historical examples of isolation backfiring. A. The Ming dynasty's forbidden city. Emperors walled themselves off, corrupt eunuchs controlled information, dynasty collapsed. B. Howard Hughes' downfall. Billionaires' extreme isolation led to poor business decisions, mental health collapse, being manipulated by aides. 3. How to stay safe without hiding. A. The open fortress strategy. Have trusted advisors with diverse viewpoints, like Warren Buffett's kitchen cabinet. Maintain public visibility, even if just through selective appearances. D. Information gathering tactics. The listening post technique. Keep junior employees close to ground level intel. The controlled leak method. Occasionally share minor secrets to test loyalty. C. Digital age solutions. Use anonymous accounts to monitor conversations. Schedule reality checks with outsiders. Modern applications for leaders. Elon Musk's Twitter use direct access to public sentiment. Angela Merkel's shopping trips, unofficial meetings in disguise. For professionals, why remote workers must over-communicate. The danger of deleting social media entirely. In personal life, why cutting off all X can backfire. How to maintain privacy without becoming a hermit. When temporary isolation helps. Short-term retreats for strategic thinking. Bill Gates think weeks. Brief digital detox to regain perspective. Never permanent, always planned. Law 18 reveals the ultimate power paradox. The safest place is often in the center of the action. Protection comes from smart engagement, not retreat. Key takeaways. Walls keep threats out and trap you in. Build networks, not fortresses. Use temporary isolation strategically, not permanently. What if one small misstep could destroy years of work? Law 19. Know who you are dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. The law that separates those who rise smoothly from those who crash spectacularly. Robert Greene reveals that not all enemies are equal. Some people will forget a slight, others will spend years plotting revenge. The key to power, knowing the difference before it's too late. 1. The high cost of misreading people. Why this law matters now more than ever. In our connected world, one offended influencer can destroy reputations overnight. Example, journalists losing jobs over Twitter feuds with powerful figures. The 3 most dangerous personality types. The grudge holder remembers everything, waits years for payback. The connected puppet master has invisible networks of influence. The unpredictable wild card will burn themselves to burn you. 2. How to read people like a power player. The 5-minute threat assessment. Observe their past conflicts. How do they handle disputes? Map their connections. Who would back them in a crisis? Test their ego sensitivity. Casually disagree and watch reactions. 3. Historical disasters and what we learn. Case study 1. Thomas Cromwell versus Henry VIII. Misjudged the king's ego, lost his head. Case study 2. Elizabeth Holmes versus journalists. Attacked the wrong investigators, accelerated her downfall. 4. Damage control tactics. If you've offended someone powerful, the strategic apology, timing and delivery matter more than words. The distraction play, give them a bigger enemy to focus on. The preemptive strike, only if you can guarantee victory. Modern applications. In the workplace, why you should never trash talk that quiet colleague. How to handle office narcissists, the most dangerous type. On social media, the 10-second rule before replying to comments. Why blocking isn't always the safest solution. In personal life, neighborhood disputes that escalate dangerously. Family members who keep score for decades. Law 19 isn't about fear, it's about strategic awareness. In the game of power, the smartest players know which battles to avoid entirely. Key takeaways. Assume everyone has hidden power until proven otherwise. Grudge holders are more dangerous than shouters. In doubt, wait 24 hours before responding to provocation. What if the most powerful position isn't on one side or the other, but right in the middle? Law 20. Do not commit to anyone. Stay neutral and play all sides. Robert Greene reveals that choosing sides too early limits your options. The true power players, they float above conflicts, letting others fight while they position themselves for the win. 1. The power of strategic neutrality. Why taking sides weakens you. Committing early makes you a target for both enemies and allies. Example, tech companies that stay platform agnostic thrive longer. The 3 benefits of playing the middle. You become the deal maker, both sides need you. You see the full battlefield while others are tunnel visioned. You escape the blame game when things go wrong. 2. How to master neutrality without becoming irrelevant. The Switzerland playbook. Use ambiguous language. I see merits in both approaches. Let me study this more before deciding. Control your reactions. Never cheer or criticize publicly. Master the politician's non-answer. B. Digital age neutrality. Social media tactics. Liking opposing posts equally. Posting ambiguous statements that both sides claim. 3. Historical masters of neutrality. Case study 1. Talleyrand, the survivor diplomat. Served under Louis XVI, Napoleon, and the restored monarchy. Secret. Always left himself an exit path. Case study 2. Warren Buffett's political dance. Donates to both parties. Never endorses candidates. Result, maintains access regardless of who wins. 4. When neutrality fails and what to do instead. 3 times to take sides. When the winning side is obvious, but be late, not first. When your silence looks cowardly, frame it as principled. When commitment gains unique rewards, exclusive access. Modern applications. In business, vendor negotiations, never let suppliers know your bottom line. Office politics, how to avoid HR complaints while staying influential. In relationships, family disputes, the art of I love you both equally. Friend group conflicts, why the mediator always wins. On social media, handling controversial trends, the mute unfollow trick. Politely declining debate traps, interesting perspective. Law 20 isn't about cowardice, it's about strategic patience. While others exhaust themselves in battles, you are positioning for the long game. Key takeaways. Delay commitments until the last responsible moment. Master the language of neutrality, both sides have points. When forced to choose, do it late and minimally. Ever stayed neutral and watched others destroy themselves? Comment your best neutrality tactic. Like and subscribe for next week's law on creating compelling spectacles, because sometimes the best move is letting others think you've chosen.